Welcome back. I'm back. You're back. Hey, we back. Welcome everyone's episode on the Ultimate Sports TV, guys. And most importantly, welcome to this edition of Ultimate Questions, where I answer your NBA or NFL based questions in video format, guys. We have a great episode coming today, full of NBA and NFL questions. And if you want to get your question on Ultimate Questions, make sure you subscribe. And to get your question on the show, make sure you go to my community post tab section and post under the prompt that comes out every Monday or Tuesday that says post your NBA and NFL based Ultimate Questions here, and I'll answer them on the show Friday, whatever the date is, guys. So that is how you get your ultimate questions on the show for me to answer your NBA and NFL based questions. But before I get to answer these questions, please make sure you subscribe to the Ultimate Sports TV, because if you are not subscribed, you're missing out on so much, because this is the hot spot. Get lots and lots of time from the Ultimate Sports TV spot with NBA and NFL content. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and join the 2STV squad. Then when you're done with that, please like this video for me, share this video and YouTube channel, then comment down below what you think of these questions in the comment section below and your answer to all of these questions. Now let's hop into Ultimate Questions with me, Malik Hicks, and let's start with this first question. This first question comes from Sheila A, and she asks, who are your top 5 MVP picks for mid-season in the NBA? This is a wonderful question, and first I'm going to give my honorable mentions for this category. It would be Steph is one of my honorable mentions. He doesn't quite make my top 5. I would put Donovan Mitchell in there. I would put Giannis in there. He's having a great few games the past few games down the stretch, but his team and him haven't always been at the top. They've had struggles this year. And then I have Chris Paul and what impact he has had for the Suns this year, and having them in the first seed. You add Chris Paul to DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker, that just shows you what kind of leader Chris Paul is right now. Now, here are my top 5. I'll start with 5, and that's James Harden. Now, everyone's going crazy over them, and I think a lot of people think he should be number 1 on this list, but I like him at 5. I like him at 5 right now. Let's not pretend he didn't play like 12 games with KD and Kyrie with all the games he's been there. I applaud what James Harden has done. He's stepped up his game. He's adjusted his game to be a leader and be there for Kyrie and KD. We all thought he wouldn't be able to work with 2 superstars like that, and he has adjusted. And when they have been out, he has been dishing the rock. He has been putting up triple doubles. He has been scoring like James Harden always does. James Harden has been a terrific leader this year, and I do think he should be an MVP candidate, top 5 MVP candidate this year. But I do not think he should be ahead of the 4 guys I am about to name right now. At number 4, I got the Joker. I got Nikola Jokic. Now, I would debate him being at 3, but I decided to put him at 4, knowing that at the beginning of the season, he had a rocky start. His team had a rocky start, but now him and his team have kind of come into that mold as one of the best teams in the Western Conference. I believe they're the 6th seed in the Western Conference, and he has been a triple-double machine this year. That is what Jokic has been this year, and he's been a great leader on the offensive end, and if he improves very much on the defensive end, he might be unstoppable. That's just what I think, but he's been a triple-double machine this year, and he's been able to do it all on the offensive end this year, and it's really impacted his team in a big way. At number 3, I got Damien Lillard. Now, we know what the Trailblazers have been through this year. They have not had CJ McCollum a lot this year. There are some games they have not had Carmelo. There have been some games where they haven't had Yusuf Nurkic. There have been some games where they haven't had Robert Covington, but yet Damian Lillard is still being that solidified leader that the Trailblazers need. In crunch time, scoring the rock, passing the rock, shooting those deep threes, Damian Lillard has been there, and in the Western Conference, when he has so many injuries on his team, he is still balled out and made sure he is the biggest reason why his team is, I think, the 4th or 5th seed in the Western Conference. At number 2, I got LBJ. Now, his team, the Lakers, have also had kind of a rocky road this year. When Anthony Davis went out, we know they went on like a 5 to 6 game losing streak, and LeBron, let's say he just looked a little old during that time, but he has now gotten into his groove, and for a majority of the season, he has been leading this team without Anthony Davis. He has had to deal with COVID issues on his team. He has had to deal with injuries, but LeBron is still balling out and still solidifying himself in his 18th season as an MVP MVP candidate, and I love the way he's leading the Lakers right now, and I'm not surprised by it. Everything he is doing for this team right now is keeping them in the race with everything they have gone through. Now, at number 1, I got Joelle Embiid, and this was an undisputed pick for me. Joelle Embiid has been the MVP. He has been the most skilled big man we have seen in a long time. He has been able to shoot the rock from outside. He has been able to rock from the mid-range game and be unstoppable inside. He has been a terrific defender and is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. And he has been clutch this year. He has showed up for his team, making big shots consistently. Look, the Sixers are in the number 1 seed, and when I look at Joel Embiid, he's been a guy for his team that has been dominant and effective. He is one of the main reasons they are in the first seed, because he has been mightily effective this year on the offensive end and the defensive end, looking really unstoppable all season long. So he is my number 1 MVP candidate. He showed when you put shooters around him this year that he will be unstoppable. Love this question here. Now, let's move on to the next one. This next question comes from Landon Sumlin, and he asks, do you think that it was a good choice for J.J. Watt to go to the Cardinals? And I had a video on this, and I said it was okay that he went to the Cardinals. It wasn't the best decision. He could have done better. J.J. Watt could have picked a better team. Now, when he's looking at trying to win a Super Bowl right now, next season, as soon as he can, Arizona is not the spot when you have the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Browns, the Bills, the Packers as 5 of your best options on the table, even the Colts or the Titans. But you go and pick the Arizona Cardinals, who did not even make the playoffs last year. So when he's talking about the best chance to win a Super Bowl and who is up there with the upper echelon teams in the NFL, the Cardinals are not there yet. I thought he should have went to the Cleveland Browns. They gave him a great opportunity to go and try and win a Super Bowl, knowing they're trying to build off their success from last year, getting to the divisional round, knowing they have money to add pieces on the defensive side. And if they add a lot of pieces on that defensive side, they could be unstoppable. I also looked at the fact that he would play with Myles Garrett now on the Cardinals. I think it's good that he will play with Chandler Jones, but right now in Chandler Jones' career, where he's coming off of an ACL injury, he's not going to be the same Chandler Jones, and he's not going to be close to Myles Garrett. Now, he's going to be close, but he's not going to be Myles Garrett. Now, I think the Cardinals will be a good team next year, but when you're talking about a team that is trying to win a Super Bowl now and is really up there, you don't go to the Cardinals. You either go to the Packers, Chiefs, Bucks, Browns, or Bills. So, was it a good choice? Not really, because there were better options out there than the Cardinals, who didn't even make the playoffs last year. And you're going to a team that just signed you to a boatload of money and really won't have any more money to go get a running back, offensive line, linebackers, defensive tackles, cornerbacks, safeties, whatever they need. They now do not really have the money to go get those things. Great question, though, from Landon here. Now, let's move on to the next one. All right, this next question comes from Janine Scott, and she asks, building a strong defensive line is crucial for the Browns this upcoming season. Who do you think they should go after in free agency? This is a wonderful question here involving the Browns here. Yes, building a strong defensive line going into next season is really, really huge for the Browns, because it is what their defense is about. Getting a pass rush, stopping the run, really getting to the quarterback and the running back. So they are going to have to look at the defensive line, but there also are players that they need to look at in the secondary, because that was one spot they needed of improvement last year too. But on the defensive line, the first guy I would look at that is also on the Browns' radar is Von Miller, a guy who could be traded, a guy who could be released this year in the offseason. That's a guy who is older and it would go great next to Myles Garrett, knowing he is older and having a younger body next to him would really help Von Miller out. Another guy in free agency that I think that the Browns should get and look at is Trey Hendrickson. He's a guy who's phenomenal in run defense and pass rushing. He would go great next to Myles Garrett. He's a young body. He goes great along with star pass rushers. He had 13 sacks last year beside Cam Hayward, and that shows you if you put him beside a superstar pass rusher, then he will do great things, run defense and pass defense. So if you put him next to Myles Garrett, I think he would have another 13 sack season, and they would be a great duo, and Trey Hendrickson will prosper. Those are two guys on the defensive line that I think the Browns should really consider getting, and I think they will. Now, in the secondary, cornerbacks, I think through trade, they should look at Marshawn Lattimore and Stephon Gilmore. Now, there are rumors that the Browns already called about Stephon Gilmore, and I do believe in those rumors because I believe they inquired about him at the trade deadline. And in free agency, I think they should look at some good safeties. Those safeties for me would have to be Anthony Harris, Marcus Williams, and John Johnson. They all fit the Browns schemes, and I think they would do well as safeties on the back end. And I know Grant Delpit is coming back off of an Achilles tear injury in training camp. He will come back. I think he will do good, but at this point, the Browns are looking to win, not wait on players to develop. So if they go get a safety for the right price and help develop Grant Delpit, that'll really be great. Now, the last guy I think the Browns should look at, and they are interested in, is Lavonte David. Now, that linebacker room needs a linebacker that can really be shifty all over the field, because that is what their scheme is. They run a scheme similar to what Seattle did with the Legion of Boom. They needed linebackers and safeties that can move all over the field. The Browns are interested in Lavonte David, and I think they should go get him to help that linebacker room out. Great Browns related question here from Janine Scott. Now, let's move on to our final question. This final question comes from Dance King Marquise, and he asks, who are the biggest players in NFL free agency that everyone will be going for? Now, this is an NBA free agency. There's not going to be multiple teams bidding for one player, but there is one player in NFL free agency where I think that could possibly happen for, and that one player, to answer your question, is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson had a fantastic year last year, had 1,200 yards, had 6 touchdowns, and played for some trash quarterbacks. Mitch Trubisky wasn't good all year, and neither was Nick Foles. Now, he's a guy that can really be transcended to your wide receiver room, and there are at least 8 teams that I will think be bidding and will be in the sweepstakes for Allen Robinson, and those teams are the Ravens, the Giants, the Jets, the Colts, the Patriots, the Bears, the Dolphins, and the Washington football team. Those are all teams that I think will be in the sweepstakes and bidding for Allen Robinson. Now, the Ravens need a wide receiver. They need a number 1 receiver because Marquise Brown just is not it. Allen Robinson would be a really good tall guy for Lamar Jackson to throw to and improve his throwing. The New York Giants, they need to surround Daniel Jones with whatever they need for him to develop. The New York Jets, they're looking for guys, just pieces to solidify that rebuild. The Colts, they're looking for pieces for Carson Wentz. The Patriots, of course, they're looking for wide receivers. They may bring Cam Newton back, and they need a wide receiver. The Bears, if they decide to franchise tag them. The Dolphins are a team that needs to surround Tua Tagovailoa with as many weapons as he can to really help his development. And the Washington football team are a team that needs a quarterback but really needs another receiver to go next to Terry McLaurin to really make sure that receiving room is really, really unstoppable, guys. Nice question there from Dance King Marquise. Nice questions all throughout the show. I loved answering all of them. To get your question on the show, you know what to do. Just go to my community post tab section, and the prompt will be posted every Monday and Tuesday, and comment your question under there, guys. Make sure to subscribe. This is Malik Hicks, aka the Regular Ultimate Sports TV, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you in my next one.